So welcome to the webinar on the Certificate in Family Mediation at York University School of Continuing Studies. Before we begin, I'd like to conduct a land acknowledgement. We recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Takaranto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Métis. It is now home to many Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. My name is Nicole Pereira, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm the program manager for the Certificate in Family Mediation in the Continuing Professional Education Division of the School of Continuing Studies. In terms of our agenda for today, I'm going to start by walking you through a bit of an orientation to the School of Continuing Studies. Then we're going to talk about what exactly is family mediation. We're going to go through a program overview, the different professional designations that are tied to this profession, student resources available to you through the school, as well as the registration and enrollment process. In terms of the School of Continuing Studies at York, we are a new school formed just in 2015-2016, but we are the fastest growing continuing education unit in the country. We were formed about 7 years ago for the express purpose of designing and delivering programs in collaboration with industry leaders and practitioners in each of the fields that we design programs within. And the fields that we design programs in are either established fields, high demand fields, or emerging professional disciplines. The underlying commonality here is that there are employment opportunities and employer demand in the fields that we deliver programming within. We also offer all of our programs in cohorts, which means that you'll be taking this program from start to end with a community of peers, and that really allows you to build a strong learning community. It encourages some great peer-to-peer collaboration and helps you to build your personal and professional networks that will really serve you well as you go forward into your future. So what exactly is family mediation? Starting at the beginning here, family mediation is an accessible and collaborative alternative to what can otherwise be very costly litigation through the court system. Family mediation is a voluntary dispute resolution process, and through family mediation, a neutral third party, the family mediator, assists a family to work out a plan to move forward in a manner that is peaceful. Family mediation obviously involves family-related issues, so these could be parenting, separation, and divorce. Family mediation is meant to be forward and solution-focused. So it's interested in uncovering underlying interests and needs to find common ground. So oftentimes you're looking for what the reasonable explanation is for what could otherwise be perceived as unreasonable behavior. And then lastly, family mediation centers the clients and is all about empowering the parties involved to creatively design their own solutions rather than having these imposed through the court system by a judge. So who are family mediators? Like I've said, family mediators are a neutral third party who guides the parties in their decision making and is responsible for keeping the lines of communication healthy and open. Family mediators are trained in negotiation, conflict resolution, screening for domestic violence and power imbalances, family dynamics, and also the law, and are guiding the negotiation process to find mutually agreeable and lasting solutions. So this can be in the areas of parenting, child support, division of property, and so on. Family mediators have a really important role in continuously assessing and screening the parties for appropriateness of mediation. So certainly mediation may not always be suitable in all cases. And this can be in situations where the parties may have unequal bargaining positions or where domestic violence, intimate partner violence, power imbalance, or financial abuse, or concerns for safety may be a factor. And family mediators come from a wide variety of backgrounds, which we'll get into in a coming slide, but just a few of these could include law, nursing, social work, finance, and so on. So what are the benefits of family mediation? Firstly, the intention of family mediation is to shift the nature of interactions to be more healthy and more constructive. The intention is to give people the opportunity to be heard and allow for people to have a deeper understanding of each other. And through this, it supports the maintenance and also the revitalization of relationships, for example, in co-parenting circumstances. Family mediation is designed to meet the unique needs of each family, and this process allows for more detailed, creative, and personalized agreements to take shape. And through this process of self-determination, this often leads to an increased durability of outcome and an agreement, and greater commitment to those outcomes by all parties involved. So it can be much more effective and lasting than going through the court system. So some of the main issues, but certainly not all of the issues that families face, that family mediators often encounter, might be issues like differences in decision-making or financial matters, issues involving spousal and child support, new partners, conflict that's continuing post-separation, disagreements with regards to holiday schedules, cultural values and religion, and so on. So who is this program designed for? So taking all of that into mind, this program is primarily designed for people who are interested in acquiring or further developing their skills and knowledge to become qualified and accredited family mediators. And we'll discuss in more detail what an accredited family mediator means. And also for those who currently work with or plan to work with families on a regular basis in a role that requires or could substantially benefit from an ability to understand, support, or facilitate the resolution of conflict within a family context, and could stand to benefit from the formal certification that this York program provides. Important to note that this program is not designed for people who are seeking personal or legal advice, guidance, or counseling for their own personal family-related matters. So I mentioned that I was going to take you through what some related fields can be for the Family Mediation Certificate, and that mediators come from a wide variety of backgrounds. So just a few of the opportunities where you can apply the learnings from the Certificate in Family Mediation include, but of course are not limited to, law and paralegal services, social work, healthcare, patient services and nursing, teaching, as well as education administration, psychology, business evaluation and trust management, community, social and human services, newcomer services, law enforcement and corrections, youth justice, mental health services, faith services and ministry, addiction services, long-term care, victim services, financial services, arbitration, child protection, public policy and government, and lastly, counseling and coaching. So there are a lot of very interesting and different applications of the certificate program. I'm going to walk you now through a program overview of the certificate, starting with the program features and benefits that really set this certificate apart and make it unique. So firstly, and what I would argue is most importantly, this certificate is designed and delivered by leading industry expert instructors and coaches. I have some slides coming up where you'll get a bit more of an insight into who these instructors and coaches are, but suffice it to say for now that we are extremely proud of the instructional team that we have compiled and excited about the connections that you'll make as a student in this program. Secondly, this is the only post-secondary family mediation program available in the province of Ontario, meaning that there is no other family mediation program that you can take that's offered at the college or university level. Next, this is a hands-on experiential learning program. There is significant role play opportunities. So this program has been designed from start to end, thinking first and foremost about what are the skills and competencies that you're going to need to be able to demonstrate at the end of this program and out in the field when you're practicing these skills. And then we take that information and we package that into assignments, projects, group work that mirrors what you would be doing in real life. So this is a very practical certificate that we've designed for you. Next, this program is offered in an accelerated format. So regardless of the format that you take the program in, it is a very short learning opportunity. So we offer the program in a 6-week format and also in a 6-month format. And that gives you opportunities also in terms of choosing which format works best for you. We'll get into the details of those formats shortly. Next, as I've already spoken to, this program is delivered in a cohort model, which means that you're going to be working with the same group of students from start to end. This is an excellent model for professional networking, and also in a certificate where you're talking about very sensitive issues and you're engaging in role play and trying out new skills and practicing those new competencies. It's really important to be working alongside peers that you have the opportunity to get to know over time and establish trust with in those spaces. Next, this program is fully modernized. We're delivering a brand new curriculum that has been designed at the foundation to be highly intersectional. And this certificate and all of the curriculum has been designed and written by highly reputed practitioners in the field. And then lastly, this program fulfills the training requirements, both for the accredited family mediator designation, as well as the certified specialist in family mediation, or FDRP med designations, which we'll speak about in more detail going forward here. Okay, so I mentioned that our certificate in family mediation is grounded in an intersectional curriculum. What I mean by that is that we've designed this curriculum expressly to reflect the values of representation, equity, and inclusion, and also to center the richness of family diversity in our communities. It's very important to us at York University that we assume the responsibility as an institute of higher learning to help move the industry forward and not simply just reflect some of the current and emerging trends in the profession. So as a student of the certificate, you are a key part of this evolution. To be more specific about how we approach issues of power dynamics and intersectionality, you will be looking at family mediation in the context of class, gender, race, ethnicity, indigenous heritage, ancestry, place of origin, citizenship, socioeconomic status, family diversity, ability, creed, religion, age, capacity, sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. I know that's a long list, but all very important. I want to take a moment now to introduce you more or less to our instructional team. We could not speak more highly of the instructors that we've been able to attract to this program to deliver these courses to you. Everyone on this slide really represents the who's who of family mediators nationally, and these are really some of the absolute best practitioners in the country. So we're very, very proud to have them in this program. Our instructors sit on the boards of organizations like the Association of Family and Conciliation Courts and the Custody and Family Services Review Board. They mediate with the Office of the Children's Lawyer, also through the United Nations, through Mediators Beyond Borders International. Some of our instructors also sit on the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario and are published authors and internationally renowned experts on topics that include, but certainly are not limited to, domestic and intimate partner violence, mediating in immigrant and refugee communities, as well as family conflict in the time of COVID-19. Now, I'd mentioned that in the program, you'll be doing a fair amount of coaching and role play so that you can really develop your skills and your comfort and confidence as a family mediator. So these role play sessions will be conducted in small groups and overseen by experienced coaches who are, again, senior practitioners in the industry. And these coaches will guide you, they'll assist you in maximizing your performance, in identifying key areas of learning, and also providing you with very robust feedback and assessment so you can continue to develop those skills and that expertise. These are most of our coaches, not all, but you can see here that we have very highly accredited practitioners from all over the province. Our coaches are diverse in their identities, their specializations, and their experience. And they're also experts in a variety of different fields that include child welfare, mental health, Indigenous forms of dispute resolution, intimate partner violence, family justice, fertility, surrogacy, and adoption, elder mediation, addiction, interfaith and cross-cultural mediation, as well as high conflict mediation. And the list really does go on and on. Now, this is a very dense slide, but I did want to give you a high-level overview of the types of, of the types of organizations where our instructors and coaches work. Just to give you a sense of, again, where you can apply the learnings from the certificate. So the types of organizations that you'll see reflected on this slide include things like legal aid, government ministries, shelters, children's aid, community services, mediation clinics, the court system, family services, parent-child centers, and also a number of our coaches and instructors are sole practitioners. So looking now at the program in a bit more detail, on this slide are the program courses. These are listed in sequence. So in this program, you'll be starting with Family Mediation Fundamentals, progressing to Family Law, and then assessing and screening for domestic violence, ending with Family Relations and Advanced Family Mediation. We offer this program in two different delivery formats. The first is our part-time live online program. This is a 6-month-long program delivered typically on alternating Saturdays and Sundays. So every other Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, this is fully live online, so delivered over Zoom, fully synchronous, which means that you have live exposure to your classmates and your instructor. The second format is intensive, also live online. This format is 6 weeks long as compared to 6 months long with the part-time live online offering. This format is offered typically on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it's best that if you choose the intensive live online format that you are not balancing full-time employment. If you are balancing full-time employment, I do recommend the part-time program, as this program is quite intensive. There is a lot of work involved just to make sure that you can balance all of your priorities. Now, I do want to mention that exceptions are sometimes made to these schedules for statutory and major holidays, and the tuition for the program is $4,995. The intensive format is OSAP eligible. A few requirements for live online learning, just to keep in mind, is that in order to meaningfully participate in the certificate, you will need to be equipped with the following. So that includes a device with a camera and microphone capabilities, high-speed internet access, as well as a quiet space. So we'll talk about how the certificate is tied to the accreditations through FDRP and also OAFM. But in order to effectively represent real-world mediations, it is really important that you have your camera and your microphone turned on during role play. So you will need those capabilities. Turning now and looking at the professional designations that are tied to this industry and to family mediation. Now, this is entirely optional. It's important to understand that family mediation is a self-regulated profession. So what that means is that upon the completion of the certificate, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from practicing as a family mediator. You are not required to get any further certification or designation. However, professional designations are available and they can add credibility to your practice. So if that is of interest to you, it's important to note that the York University certificate is an accredited and approved training provider with both OAFM, the Ontario Association for Family Mediation, as well as FDRP, Family Dispute and Resolution Institute of Ontario. And what that means is that this certificate program fulfills the training requirements for the Accredited Family Mediator designation, or AccFM designation with OAFM, as well as with the addition of 9 hours of training in family law, the training requirements for the Certified Specialist in Family Mediation, or FDRP Med designation, through FDRP. Now, those additional 9 hours of training in family law that you would need in order to obtain the FDRP Med designation are available to York University graduates through FDRP at no cost, and they are available on demand online. Okay, so important to note that the training requirements are not the only requirements to achieve the AccFM or the FDRP Med designation. The York certificate will fulfill the training requirements for you, as I've just explained in the previous slide, but there are also education and/or relevant work experience requirements, the requirement of an internship, which is supervised practical experience, part of which can be achieved through an optional simulation program outside of York University. You would also need to demonstrate agreements to mediate or retainer contracts, as well as mediator reports, and you need to have insurance. So if you're interested to learn more about what is required to fully achieve the AccFM and FDRP Med designations, you can learn more by visiting the OAFM and FDRP websites or contacting them directly by phone, and that contact information and links to their website are available on the slide. Now, I'd mentioned that you can achieve your FDRP Med or AccFM designation through a combination of internship and also simulation. So on this slide are a list of the currently approved simulation providers in Canada. So you can see that the first 3 there are recognized by OAFM for up to 80 of the 100 hours of practical experience required. And the one at the bottom is recognized by FDRP for up to 40 of the 100 hours of practical experience required. Now, important to understand that this is a very, because of the connection between the certificate program and OAFM and FDRP, full attendance and participation is required in order to receive the Family Mediation certificate from York University. So what that means is that if you miss more than 1 class in a course, you may be required to repeat the course. Same thing is true if you miss a coaching session. If any coaching is missed, that will need to be made up with a future offering. Now, should you have documentation and valid reasons for missing class time, we will accommodate you at no additional cost and can set you up with a future cohort to make up that time. Now, moving on to student resources and value-added supports by virtue of being a student with the School of Continuing Studies. We have a new service called Career Nexus. This is an online suite of AI-driven personalized career tools. These are accessible exclusively to continuing education students, and you can access them anytime, anywhere. This includes a full subscription to LinkedIn Learning, so you can take advantage of all of the sessions and training that is available through that platform, as well as 10,000 Coffees, which is an online networking platform. We also offer Quincia AI resume and interview optimizer, as well as live workshops and career talk coaching sessions. So if you want to learn more about Career Nexus, you can email scsnexus@yorku.ca. And all of that will be available to you once you become a registered student. We also have a partnership with Innovation York for a program called the Entrepreneurship Initiative. Now, the Entrepreneurship Initiative is available at an extra cost. I believe the cost is approximately $1,000. It is totally optional, but this can be helpful for those of you who are interested in launching your own business, perhaps becoming a sole practitioner. You may have a business idea and need some supports and training to get that off the ground. Essentially, the Entrepreneurship Initiative provides access to things like funding and training, workshops, and mentorship for new businesses. And then secondly, we have at York University the Center for Human Rights, Equity, and Inclusion. And through this division, York University students can earn a free certificate of completion. And the certificate of completion is in respect, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So what it takes to achieve this additional certificate is the completion of a minimum of 3 of the workshops that I've listed below on the slide in bullets. There are even more workshops than this. This can be a really great value add for family mediation students specifically, which is why I want to bring it to your attention, as this can help to really deepen your understanding and your practice as a family mediator. So moving on now to the registration and enrollment process. First things first is that this is an open enrollment program, which means that you are fully able to self-select into this program. There is no application required. You do not need our approval to register. We simply ask that incoming students ensure that they have an undergraduate degree or diploma, as well as human services experience, particularly if you plan to pursue the AccFM or FDRP Med designations, as this is something that they may ask for. Now, human services experience is very broadly defined. So it typically is, it just means dealing with the public on a regular basis in a capacity related to counseling, reconciling, problem solving, crisis prevention, conflict intervention or resolution, and so on. So it is very broadly defined, but if you want more clarity on what exactly is meant by human services experience, your best course of action is to reach out to OAFM or FDRP directly. Now, some students will be exempt from up to 1 course from the Certificate in Family Mediation. Those who are currently practicing family lawyers can be exempted from course 2, which is family law. And registered social workers who bring extensive and recent training and experience working with families may be exempt from course 4, which is family relations. It's important to understand that in order to be exempt, you must submit your request for exemption before the start of the first course in the certificate, which is CSFM 1000. Unfortunately, we cannot accept or consider exemption requests that are received after this date. When you receive your welcome email, which will come to you a few weeks before the program start, all of the instructions and details around how to apply for this exemption will be contained in that email. And then how to enroll. So the enrollment process is very straightforward. Simply visit our website at continue.yorku.ca. You'll click on professional programs and then find the Family Mediation Certificate. Once you select learn more, you'll identify the different delivery options and you can choose the format that you like the best, either the part-time format or the intensive format. And then you'll click enroll followed by register. In the options section, you can choose how you want to pay your course fee, either the full amount or a deposit, and then go to checkout. If you already have an account, and if you're an existing user, you can simply sign in with your user ID and password. If you're a new user, you'll just create an account by filling in all the required fields. And then as far as payment, you'll review your payment summary and the cart, select your preferred payment method, typically credit card, check off policy confirmation to confirm that you've read and understand the terms and conditions, and then you'll continue to check out based on your payment selection. Important to note that full payment is due before the start of the program. If you have any questions around that, you can email the registration department at regscs@yorku.ca. Once you complete those steps, there's nothing further that you need to do. On our end, we will enroll you in all of your individual courses, so no further action is needed on your part. Important to note, though, that enrollment does close 2 days before the start of the program, unless it sells out earlier. It is very common for the Certificate in Family Mediation to sell out a few weeks before the program actually starts. So if it's important to you to get into the program, I would encourage you not to wait to register. And that brings me to the end of today's webinar covering the Certificate in Family Mediation. Thank you so much for your attendance, and we hope to see you in the program. If you have any further questions, you can always reach us at York's toll-free number or at 416-736-5616. You can also reach a continuing studies advisor at continue@yorku.ca.